Welcome to week 2 of the Fermented Foods Challenge. Today I'm making some fermented sauerkraut. We call them fermented veggies. And so I'm going to show you exactly how I do this so that you have the most success with this, okay? This will be a 2-part video. I'm going to start it for you and then I'll stop the video. We'll come back to it because it has to sit for a little bit and I'll tell you all about that. All right, so in this bowl, I actually purchased just a half a head of purple cabbage and I purchased a whole head of green cabbage. I've got green all at the bottom there. See that? Okay. And what I want to do here to make the fermented veggies, the sauerkraut, the cabbage, is I'm going to start by taking a really sharp knife. So you've got to sharpen your knife really good. And then you start slicing this about as thin as you can get it. I like it sliced thin. Okay, so when you pull it apart, you can see it shred nicely just like that into little stringy bits. Now, why do we want to eat fermented sauerkraut? Well, it's different than the sauerkraut you guys buy at the store. If you buy sauerkraut at the grocery store, they put it through a cooking process, and so it kills all the good bacteria that you would be getting, and you're just eating the sauerkraut, which still tastes good, but it doesn't have the health benefits of fermented sauerkraut. So you're going to get the same flavor with your sauerkraut, fermenting it, but you'll have all those beautiful probiotics to go along with it, okay? All right, so this is what we do. We gotta kind of layer it here. We grab our sea salt, sprinkle some sea salt, and I let this sit here for 30 minutes. After I'm gonna fill this bowl up to the top, I wanna let this sit for about 30 minutes because it's gonna draw the water out of the cabbage. And I'm gonna squeeze the cabbage on the next video and just squeeze the water out of it, put it into another bowl, and then I'll start stuffing my jars, all right? Now, the other thing I'm gonna put into, now this looks like a lot of cabbage, doesn't it? Look at, I filled up an entire bowl here. This will probably fill up only 1 jar. So when you start packing it down, although it looks like a lot, once we drain the water out, it's not gonna be a lot. So you could do probably 2 to 3 heads of cabbage and get about 2 quart-sized jars. So I've got my jars right here, okay? Out of that, along with this, I'm gonna be putting in just some whole cloves of garlic, or I might chop them up and mix them around in there. And I also like the flavor of dill in my sauerkraut. A lot of people don't like dill, so you can just omit that. You can leave it out. Another thing you can do is add some shredded carrot, or chop up some carrot, ferment the carrot in with this. And then you know how you eat this is I eat it right on top of eggs, or on top of meat, or on top of if you're eating a hot dog, right? That would be the best time to have some. But just when I eat it on top of my protein, my eggs, especially in the morning, it tastes amazing. This will be, however, the stinky part of the fermentation, okay? Of all the 5 weeks, this is gonna be the one that you will open it up after 2 weeks or so and you'll go, oh, that's a pungent smell. It's a very pungent smell, okay? But it's very good for you and it's delicious, it's amazing. So keep that in mind. So now we let this sit for about 30 minutes. And let me just show you what I got going on in my kitchen today. Okay, if I bring you over here, look what I've got going here. I've got a sourdough loaf of bread that's rising here. I don't usually bake a ton, but when I'm starting to watch the Great British Bake Off, then I want to bake more. Okay, so I've got that going there. Check this out. I've got my beautiful bone broth that's been simmering all night long. So this has a lot of those marrow bones, beef and chicken. That's a good mix, and that's a deep color. That's gonna be a nice bone broth. So really, if you're making fermented foods and you have your sourdough bread and you've got your bone broth going, I can't think of a better kitchen to have, okay, than to have a bunch of that stuff stocked up. So meet me back here in about 30 minutes or so. I'm gonna show you you how to do part 2 of the sauerkraut. So far, so good, right? It's super easy. Sea salt and your cabbage so far. And then if you want to add your garlic and your dill, you're going to pick that up at the store too. So this is week 2, Fermented Foods Challenge. I'll be right back with video 2. See you soon. Sauerkraut, I could just take this and start squeezing the water out and then putting it into that bowl. You've got to squeeze kind of hard. So I actually like to fill up one of these nut bags. I got this on Amazon, but you could use anything like maybe a really light cloth that you could, I used to fold it into this cotton cloth, this kitchen towel cloth, and I'd squeeze that cloth. But I have this now, and so I just can come here and start squeezing. As you can see, it'll squeeze out a lot of that liquid there. So don't fill this bag up totally full. Just have it about like that, okay? And then you can dump it into your bowl where we're getting all the liquid out, okay? So I just have a couple more handfuls to do here, and then I'll show you how to pack it into your jars and finish it out. Are you guys doing the challenge with me this week? Are you gonna do the sauerkraut? Did you do the kombucha? I have my kombucha back there. I wanna show that to you next. As you can see, I'm just squeezing out as much. It takes a little bit of muscle here. You gotta muscle out that liquid, but it's kind of fun. It's a little bit of a workout, okay? So there we have it. I've got pretty much all the water out of it. I can take these 2 bowls to the side here, get them out of the way. Don't need that anymore. Probably will need this. Okay, so from here I'm gonna grab some dill. Maybe about that much dill. And then I'll start to just chop this up. About like that, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect here, and I'm just gonna add that to our bowl, right there. And then I've got a bunch of garlic here. So I've got about 4 to 6 cloves here. Some of them are small, some of them are large. And I'm just gonna chop those babies up. Just a nice rough chop. Okay, about like that. Throw that in there. Okay, from here, now I'm just gonna simply mix all that together. Get it mixed nice and well, because when you do go to eat your kraut in a couple weeks time, I'd say this will take about 3 to 4 weeks. That's why I chose this challenge for the 2nd week, because it takes, for me to like the kraut, the sour, nice taste, you gotta let it sit for a long time. And sometimes I let it sit for a few months, and then I pull it out and it's ready to go. Okay. So I'm gonna grab this large jar here. This is my quart-sized jar. Let me grab one of these. Have you seen that before? It's for canning. You get that at your grocery store. I can start to pack it in here though. Okay, get it down in there without making too big of a mess. Now, you can see that we've already filled that jar up with just a few handfuls, but we didn't really, because we have to pack it down. We have to really pack it down. So I have one of these things called a masher for fermented foods, and I got that on Amazon, and I'm giving away one of these at the end of the challenge. So if you're registered and you've given me your email to sign up for this challenge, you're gonna go into a drawing to win that, okay? So I'm just gonna take this. You wanna really mash that down. Look at that now. See how much space we have in there? We've packed that down. So we gotta keep loading this up. We load it up. Get all that good kraut in there. Okay, come back, bring the masher. Before I had a masher, what I had was just a spoon, and I bent the spoon up and I was able to press it down. So if you have a spoon like that, that you can mash it down, because you've got to mash it down. You can't have, we don't want air getting in there. So we want it to be nice and packed, really good. We're just going to keep packing it down. You know what? I probably have enough there for one more jar. So that's good. I'll make 2 jars of fermented veggies. I'm going to go a little teeny bit more here. Okay. And then what we do is we get the sea salt water going. So if I want to, I'm just gonna fill up, if you have some filtered water, just fill up half a jar or so of water. Hang on. All right, I'm back. I've got some water here. And I've got some sea salt, and I'll probably add the rest of that. That was about 1.5 tablespoons of sea salt, okay? So I'll just kind of mix that around. I'm gonna pour that on top. And I want it to cover all the veggies, okay, like that. So I'll mash it down again just a little bit. All right, that's about where I want it, maybe a little bit more, okay. This is ready for a lid, and it's ready to start fermenting. So I'm gonna put a lid on that. I'm going to put under it probably an 8x8 baking glass pan or a cookie sheet, because when it ferments, it might bubble up and drip, and I don't want my closet and or wherever I put it to stink, okay? So you want to keep in mind that when the fermentation process is going on, it could bubble out. All right, so we have that going. Now for those who are a little bit lazy and you're already looking at this and you're going, this is a bad idea for me, it's too messy, it's too much work. They do have this at the store. This is called wild brine. You can buy this at any grocery store that's more like a Whole Foods or a Sprouts or a farmer's market that would have healthier options. And sometimes even grocery stores are getting stuff like this now. But this is called wild brine, and if you even go to if you have a natural grocers, they have a ton of different flavors of this. This one has arami, which is sea vegetables, and it has ginger in it, along with the cabbage. So you can ferment basically anything, and this is about $6 to $7 for just that tiny thing. Can you see how tiny that is? When we can get like triple the amount making it ourselves. So just know you'll pay the price for convenience if you don't want to do the work, and that's okay. But I actually enjoy it. It's fine. I don't mind doing dishes, but some of you guys don't like cleanup, don't like to do the dishes, so that's the option for you. All right, let's go ahead and move some of this stuff. We're going to take a look at our kombucha that we started last week, and then I'll get going on my next jar for the rest of that. Let's see here. Let's bring this over. This is it right here. Did you make kombucha? Should we see if it's any good? Let me grab a straw. So my kombucha was started, I started this last Monday. It's not gonna be ready for like 5 weeks, but you can see the SCOBY up here. See that thing? I'm gonna put my straw in under that. I'm gonna give it a taste. Okay, it's very, very sweet still. It's not near the acidity level where I like it, so for sure I already know it's gonna need, I'll taste it again next Monday when we do our video for pickles, because next Monday we're doing pickles, okay? So we just did our sauerkraut. Next week is pickles. We'll taste this again. It won't be ready, but we'll just keep tasting it because you want to taste it every week. Maybe you like yours to be a sweet tea versus an acidic vinegary tea. But the more it ferments, that's what you want for your gut health, okay? You want that good vinegar taste. All right, so we know that that's not done. We're done with our kraut, so if you have any questions, reach out to me. I'm going to be posting these videos to your email if you sent me your email, along with the recipe, along with any more tips and tricks I have, so make sure you're registered for that. And if you have a picky eater, don't miss my webinar on Wednesday. It's called How to Win the Battle with Your Picky Eater. Let's get our kids eating stuff like this. Spoonful of that every day. It's going to help boost that immune system, so when winter's here, your kids aren't going to get sick. How about that? Let's start feeding them foods like this now. So if you're not sure how to get your kids to eat healthy, don't miss that webinar. It's called How to Win the Battle with Your Picky Eater. I will be posting links. It's a free masterclass with my top 5 tips for getting your kids, or maybe your grown-up kids, to eat healthy whole foods. So check that out. And I will talk to you guys later. If you have any questions, reach out to me. Happy Monday.